Well, my previous attempt to do a rainwater collection unit inside my greenhouse was a failure. I tried to use a Craftsman tote, heavy-duty Craftsman tote, to collect rainwater. Had parts and pieces all hooked together, and the sides of the Craftsman tote weren't strong enough to hold all that water. It wasn't designed for it. So it bowed out, gave me a crack, spilled the water all over the place. So this is part 2, and this time I'm using a Brute by Rubbermaid. This is I believe it's 44 gallons of water in this thing. So hopefully I'll be able to set it up. I'm going to have to rebuild my stand here in order to support a round container. I can't just stick it up on top like I could this. That's one of the reasons why I tried to do it with the tote, is to allow me to use the same stand that I used for the bathtub water collection system I had before. And I still have my really awesome 300-gallon collection system, which you can watch the videos on. But this time I'm going to use a Brute, drill some holes in it, put some drains, put an overflow on it, and see how it works. So let's get to it. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be drilling a couple holes here. First off, I'm going to be putting 2 holes for some string, so that way when I make the hole for the overflow hose that's coming out, it'll support the overflow hose. I was sort of worried about it on my other build. Had to put a whole bunch of epoxy in there in order to hold it up. So I'm going to do something a little bit different than my last one. That way this will hold better and work better. So there's our holes for our string. And there's my hole for the hose. So the hose is going to go in. String's coming in, going to hold it into place. So you see how this comes down and sort of pulls over on it? So that's what I'm trying to avoid by putting this string on it. Alright, so now I got 2 pieces of string here, and the string are holding it together. It's holding it in place. That way it'll put less stress on the epoxy that I'm going to be putting on it. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting in the drain and the spigot here. I use a washer dryer spigot just because it has a long end on here, a lot of threads. Pretty easy to install, plus I like the operation. It has a nice ball on it. So it has a ball opening on it, ball valve. But I'm going to put this about 1 inch or 2 above. That way any sediment that comes in will come in down here, and I can take it out and dump it, but it won't clog up my ball valve. And it'll actually take longer to clog this up when I get the sediment in from the rainwater coming in, and any leaves or pine needles that happen to come in with it. So the drill bit's just a little bit smaller than the valve here, and that way I can actually screw it all the way in. This piece here I'll be putting in on the other side, and using a pair of vice grips to finish it off. I do have 1 washer on here, and now I'm going to crawl underneath and connect the other side. In my part 1 video, I put in my gutter, put in a screen to keep the leaves out. Also, I put in a stand. The stand I'm going to have to modify a little bit. It's a little bit too tall for this system, so I'm going to have to modify it, cut it down a little bit. So sometimes I just don't know what's going through my mind when I'm building stuff. When I built this stand before, for some reason I used nails. I got to remind myself, wood screws, wood screws, wood screws. So much easier to get apart. Okay, well, some strategic sawzall cutting. Brought this thing down. Have some boards here for it to sit on. And next thing I got to do is put a hole in the top so I can put my drain in here. I had to put some duct tape on a drain here. It's starting to sprinkle for me, and water's starting to drip a little bit. It's getting past the duct tape, of course. So let me take this out and put my hole in the top. Alright, now I can stick this piece in. It's going to go through this hole. Rain's going to come in, go down. It won't splash all over the place because the lid's going to be on top once it gets high enough to where it's going to be doing the overflow. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be moving this barrel into position, and also putting on the lid with the drain going into the lid. Now, on my overflow, I have some mesh that I wrapped around with some duct tape, and this is going to be on the outside. It's going to go down below. I'll show you where it comes out here in a second. But this is going to go outside, and the mesh is to keep any rodents from trying to get inside the greenhouse. Don't want to make it easy for them. So here's my overflow drain. It comes out and goes back here. Got a ditch here. So that's where my overflow drain is going to go. All right, there we go. Water's going to come in here. Bring it down a little bit better. And go right in. I can hear it inside there, and it's starting to fill. Alright, so we've had a steady light rain for about an hour now. Let's see how we're doing in here. It's still coming in. Looks like we got a little over a gallon in there. Alright, well, it's about 7:30 in the morning. We had about an inch of rain yesterday, and I'm excited to see how this thing did and see if it filled up all the way or not. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, look at that. All the way to the top. Looks like the overflow is working. No drippage along the side there, other than my epoxy that came down. That is awesome. Alright, this thing is working great. It is holding water. It's nice and strong because it's round, and it's evenly distributing the water all the way around the trash can, unlike the tote that failed on me and gave way. This thing is just doing great. It does have some condensation on the outside. It's acting sort of like a heat sink, just like my other water barrels down here. My trash can's down here full of water. So we're getting some condensation on it. You know, I expected it. That's why I have gravel on the floors instead of wood floors in here. But the main thing is it's holding water. Now I can water my plants. Well, took 2 tries, got it done, and I'm happy with it. It's going to save me a lot of time moving hoses back and forth, especially in the springtime when we get those light frosts and I don't want to freeze out my hose. And lots of water, over 40 gallons in this thing. Drain was working great the other day. It was just coming down, downpour. So I'm really happy with it. And I hope you liked the video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. Push that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.